저랑 한번 사귀어볼래?
I love that. Use her lines. Come on now, sir. Hello and welcome back to Actually Let's Talk About It with me, your host Lily. And today, y'all, I know it's been a minute, but today we're going to finally get into See You in My 19th Life, episode 12, or the series finale episode. Y'all, it's been way too long since I last reacted to episode 11. And if you are a patron on the Patreon, you know how long that was. Like, that was weeks ago. And then even on the YouTube channel, the episode 11 reaction was weeks ago. And I do apologize, y'all. I just did not want this show to end, and then I did get caught up with other videos that I was doing on the channel. So this show kind of got put on the back burner. But I am back to finish it out here. So we did find out in episode 11 that about the history that Ji-Eum has with Kang Mingi, this character. And he's just a bad dude. Like, there's just no justification for any of his actions, because I do know someone did comment, like, he doesn't remember his past lives, but he specifically said in this episode that he's lived 23 of his lives and he remembers all of them. So that means even when it was Ji-Eum's first life, it was his fourth. So he remembers all the things that he's done. Whether he was awakened at that time or not, it doesn't excuse his heartlessness and his murder of her sister. Like, there's no justification for that. And there's no real redemption from that, unfortunately, for me. Because I'm like, you murder somebody in cold blood over some bells as a quote-unquote holy man. And you're like the type of person that is the reason why people that don't know anything about religion and its practices don't like the institutions of them. Because there's men like you who are pretending to be like they're godly or like they're saints, but you do things like this. I'm sorry, but the last time I checked, good people don't murder people in cold blood. Good people don't refuse help to other people just because. That's not what good people do. So, you know, there's that. I'm like, but I did see like a comment about that, and I'm like, there's no justification. Like, you can have your reasons for being a certain way, but once your reasons for being a certain way go into the line of murder, which is what he did to Ji-Eum's sister in her first life, and then also tried to kill her as well. Yeah. You're not a good person. Okay, we're going to call a spade a spade. But yeah, y'all, we're going to get directly into this episode and see how Ji-Eum going to handle this, because I need to see a resolve for her that doesn't involve her walking away from the people that she's loved. Because technically these people aren't just a part of her past life that she's had recently, but they are all a part of her first life. So I hope she doesn't have to walk away from them, but you never know with these K-dramas. But before we get into this episode, y'all, we're going to give our patron shout out, and our patron shout out does go out to Gino Biva. And I want to thank you so much for your support on the Patreon. It really does mean the world to me. And then I also want to give a shout out to the YouTube subscribers on the YouTube channel. Thank y'all so much, because your support does mean the world to me as well. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you have yet to subscribe to the channel, do not forget to do so if you would like to support the channel. But without further ado, we are going to get into See You in My 19th Life, episode 12, and just see what... All these for those stupid bells that mean nothing. All this pain he caused her. Ridiculous. This man is so ridiculous. So he's responsible for both of their deaths. He's gonna take the bells back, because that's the type of man he is. Ridiculous. He's a joke. And these are the type of men you have to be cautious of, because they're very dangerous individuals. Wow. Y'all, that is why I said what I said about Kang Mingi. This character is unfortunately like so many men in history who have done terrible things to people and don't feel any guilt about it. And I'm like, and I could definitely say that being specifically an African-American woman who's grown up in the United States and who knows the United States history. It's literally built off of men like this man, just exactly like Kang Mingi, who thought that they had a God-given right to oppress people and to murder people and not care about the costs or anything that would happen after, because they were so focused on their own selfish motives. And I'm like, so just like when the person who was in the comments was trying to justify Kang Mingi's actions and try to find empathy, you can't have empathy for monsters. That's step number one. You can't have empathy for murderous people. That's like having an empathy for an SAer or a serial killer. It makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? So when that person was in my comments, like making like justifications for the way that his character behaved, is saying, oh, he had a sad life. A lot of people have sad lives. Doesn't mean that they murder people. Oh, he had a lot of sad experiences and he has to live long. But does that justify you murdering people in your various lives that you're living? No. You can't use that as a scapegoat to justify your wrongdoing by saying you've had it hard. A lot of people have had it hard throughout history. But what separates the good from the bad is what you choose to do in the midst of the wrongs that life has thrown at you. And Mingi chooses to think about himself. Kang Mingi, the character, chooses to do everything wrong at every turn. Don't know why. Now he's in his redemption arc. But how much blood does this man have on his hands that we are not aware of? That's my question. Because the way that they're writing him here, I'm not sure how he is in the webtoon. I have not yet read it. But the way that they're writing him here, he's a very bad man. And we still do not know the fullness of what he's capable of doing in terms of evil. So there's that. The fact that you left somebody who's been with you, I don't know how long, to die on this bridge with the woman who you were trying to kill earlier and whose sister you did successfully kill is insane to me. And your biggest priority was these bells. Y'all, they writing it well, because this is how some people act. And I'm like, and there's no justification for it at all.
좋은 사람이었어. 미안해요.
Finally,
저 윤천씨 보려고 여기 온 겁니다.
as you should.
안 가고 기다린 거고.
왜요?
Aw,
10배로 욕해줄 테니까.
I heard that, honey.
남들이 떠드는 거 난 아무 상관 없거든요.
And he finally pursuing what he wants with her. This is so cute. It took them like literally 12 episodes, but here we are. And actually, so many years, but here we are.
살지도 모른다고 생각했었는데.
It's not about you. You always think it's something about him. Sir, you have learned nothing in your 23 lifetimes, and that's pretty sad. But you are a man. So what are we expecting? You deserve to be tormented by it. You caused the pain. Like, what? Like, he's not making sense. I'm like, the person that should feel the most pain from that lifetime is you. You were the cause of other people's pain. You were literally their death. So why did you think as the person who murdered that you wouldn't feel the most pain from that time? He's not making sense. Ji-Eum is, but he is not. I'm like, did you think you would just be able to go on normally as if you didn't get 2 women murdered in that lifetime? And your dude, that was one of your right-hand men, killed as well because of your dumbassery. I'm like, you can't even call it foolishness because you were old enough to know better. Foolish is you not knowing to do something like, let's say you didn't know that in order to put out a grease fire, you can't use water. That's foolish. This involved your actions causing people to die. 3 people in less than 7 days. That's not foolishness. That's just murder.
절대 용서 못해.
Oh, I love that for her. Come on now, sister. Why? Because forgiveness is, a synonym of forgive is pardon. I'm not going to pardon you for what you did in the past because you were wrong. You were wrong. And again, I say, he was wrong. you're not going to get forgiveness because the forgiveness is not for the person that you harmed. It is for you, so your conscience can be lifted from the pain that you caused. No, you don't get forgiveness. I will never forgive you. And we can press on because it was 1,000 years ago, but you will never be forgiven. You deserve to walk around knowing that you did that consciously and of your own free will. No one forced you. There was not a gun to your head, a sword to your throat, a knife to your back. You chose to do that. I'm like, so what? Why are you expecting forgiveness now? 1,000 years too late. I'm just like, make it make sense, especially the way that he was looking at Ji-Eum and her sister when they had reunited in the earlier episodes of this show. Like the way that he looked at them with so much resentment and hatred. I'm not buying his evolution or his character development as of episode 12 because it was still there 1,000 years later. The jealousy and the envy of their relationship because he doesn't have anybody that he's connected to that way. And I'm like, and do you really think that you ever will at this point? Come on now.
저 인생에 인연들과 얽힌 기억은 전부 사라집니다.
Okay. She still has the memories of this current life.
그게 나요?
No.
아니요. 근데 왜 자꾸 쳐다보지? 이뻐서요. 사람 볼 줄 아시는구나? 고마워요.
Oh wow, that's not cool. She doesn't remember anything. Just she won't remember anybody. That's just insane. Look at him. Mr. Keep a Job. He's been in like so many good K-dramas this year. This man will always have his checks. I'm done. Sir, your father was a grown-ass man.
삼촌이 같이 이야기만 했어도 사고는 없었을 거예요.
I don't think so, because the fact of the matter is that even when his wife was sick, he was out here adulterating with that woman. So even still, they could have talked it out about why were you having an affair with the woman that he liked while his sister was sick. They could have talked about that. But in regards to his father, aka the adulterer, the bad husband, needing to be comforted after his sick wife died over the son who was a child, no. I'm like, it's always going to be the children who need the most comfort, because as adults, we can process things in different ways and better, and his father has enough money to go see a therapist, to go to therapy, a grief counselor. That's how much money his father has. So whether there was someone on his side or not, he had money and resources to go get help. He just chose not to deal with it. And he chose to be an asshole father to his son. So I don't have no empathy or sympathy for his dad. And I don't really like the way that this writer is kind of trying to make excuses for the bad adults in their lives. That doesn't make sense either. Yeah, like that don't make sense either. And it's kind of like giving a notion into how South Korea society works and how patriarchal societies in general work, where you want to prioritize men over women and children, even when these men are despicable human beings. And I don't like that that's the notion that this writer is going in, like that's the direction that this writer is going in, because the father, who is the absentee father and the horrible, deplorable husband, because while your spouse is sick, whether you like them or not, whether it was an arranged marriage or not, you fell out of love with them or not, while they're sick, the fact that you are proactively having an affair and cheating on them, to where even your son and Ji-Eum in her past life picked up on the fact that you were cheating while your wife was sick, while she was literally fighting for her life, you were doing that. That alone is inexcusable behavior. Because while you could have been comforting your son, spending time with your wife, you were out here with this other woman. And so by the time your wife died, you have all these regrets, all these things you didn't say, because you were too busy having an affair and thinking about yourself, selfishly, and not thinking about your family. Yeah, this writer a few hiccups going on in this last episode, and I'm not really understanding. But I love that they're all family now. So at least they'll have each other once she loses all her memories. But still, dang it, I don't want her to have to lose all of them in terms of her history with them. At least not her history in this life. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
질문도 사람으로 빚으려는 거.
Just because he ain't a selfish bastard like you, do not be hating on him, sir. It's really not the time. He's one of the greenest flags that I think I've ever seen in a K-drama. Like, ever. Like, despite how the writers are going for a Kang Mingi situation, Sola is one of the best K-drama characters for men that have been written for K-dramas in such a long time. And I mean that, because sometimes they really be pairing just the best women characters with the most horrible of men. And I'm like, and there's so many K-dramas that have that trope, to where they're just like the worst types of men that you could ever get involved with as a woman, and realistically it wouldn't even be working because they wouldn't be able to attract this kind of woman in the first place. And they just like paraded like toxic relationships is good. But luckily K-dramas are starting to evolve as society is starting to get better in Korea, and they're not really gunning for women to be in relationships with men who don't deserve them. So I'm glad that in this case Soa and Ji-Eum are perfectly matched. And nobody's toxic here, except for Kang Mingi, but that is a separate situation. Anyway.
널 믿는 거야. 내가 아는 반지음은 날 못 알아봐도 날 사랑할 것 같아서.
맛있네요? 진짜 맛있네요. 진짜 맛있어요. 잘 먹겠습니다. 네. 됐거든요. 우리 주원이가 말하면 전 괜히 믿게 돼요. 그런 이상한 힘이 있어요, 주원이는.
Okay.
난 지금 행복해. 그럼 이제 됐네. 안녕, 엄마, 우리 주원이.
Oh, look at his lady. Okay. He all transfixed and whatnot, as you should.
이현인데 명함 드려야겠다. 모비티에서 파이어 자율주행 엔진 연구예요. 안지음 씨,
Playing it real cool here.
꼭 다시 만나요.
I heard the heck out of that.
주원 씨.
그건 상상도 못했는데.
네? 그게 무슨? 사장님, 저 여기 당도를 할래요. 잘 먹겠습니다. 진짜 맛있어요. 맛있겠는데. 잘 먹겠습니다.
저랑 한번 사귀어볼래요?
네?
I love that. Use her lines. Come on now, sir. I love
이
it.
정도면 커플링인데?
I love it.
안지훈 씨 만나는
He's
사람
planned.
아니요.
이번생 첫 번째 고백이야.
Oh, that is true. They deserve, okay? They ate this up, okay? I'm glad that Kang Mingi, after his little thing and telling her what she needed to do, it was done. We didn't need to talk about him no more, because you know what? At this point, we don't care. I think his greatest punishment in the life that he's in is for him to remember all the bad things he's done. And that's on period. I'm happy that Ji-Eum got her happy ending, Soa got his happy ending with her, and everybody who needed their great ending got it. And the ones that didn't need a great ending, didn't get one. I love that. Okay, yeah, y'all, but that is my reaction to See You in My 19th Life episode 12, the series finale. And I'm really satisfied with where it ended. I think that it is different. I've heard that it's different than the webtoons. I don't know if Kang Mingi is as bad as he is here in the webtoons, because again, I haven't read it. But I'm gonna probably read into it and just see how different the show is versus the actual story that it's based off of. But yeah, y'all, that is it for me. And we are now officially done with the See You in My 19th Life series. Like, that's crazy. And I knew I didn't want to, like, let go of this show. Just like the glory. And then just like Bloodhounds, but all good things do have to come to an end sometime. Especially with K-dramas. You really only ever sometimes get one season. You're lucky if you get two. But yeah, like, this was phenomenal. Like, the acting, shoot, 1,000,000 out of 10. Okay, let me tell you, especially our leads and our supporting characters, everybody was on their P's and Q's. Okay, everybody, even the extras, everybody was on their P's and Q's this series. The writing was well done, even though there's some things that I didn't agree with in terms of this episode for the writing, but it was still well done, okay? And I really liked how you could tell everybody put their heart and soul in it, and that's the result that they got. Like, I'm really hoping it did well ratings wise towards like the whole tenure of the show. And yeah, I'm hoping to see everybody in new things as well outside of this show and just be rooting for them. But I am expecting them to get some awards during awards season, because they were all, especially the kids, I want to see them getting some nominations and getting some awards, okay? The kids was doing it, the adults was doing it, everybody just did it, and I want them to get rewarded for their hard work. But yeah, y'all, if y'all made it until the end of this video, and thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you are a subscriber on the channel, again, I want to thank you so much for being a subscriber, because your support really does mean the world to me. And if you're watching this on YouTube but you have yet to subscribe to the channel, do not forget to do so. And also, if you're watching this on Patreon, thank you so much one more time for being a patron. Your support is so very much appreciated. And y'all, I will be back with another reaction relatively soon. But until then, y'all, we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.